Antonio Conte managed to secure fourth place for Tottenham Hotspur in the 21-22 Premier League campaign. Here we will look at some of his tactics, strategies and patterns of play in both attacking and defending phases of the game. This is part of the Team Tactics series. Check out the Team Tactics playlist for insights into other head coaches and managers at the highest level of the game. In the January transfer window, Conte allowed Hill, Ndombele, Lo Celso and Ali all to leave the club, bringing in Kulusevski and Bentancur, both from Juventus. By the end of 21-22, Conte won 21 out of his 36 matches in all competitions, finishing with a goal difference of plus 37. His side reached the fifth round of the FA Cup and the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. However, in Europe, Tottenham were eliminated from the Europa Conference League after UEFA confirmed their postponed fixture against Rennes would be deemed as a forfeit. For the most part, Conte used a 3-4-3 structure as Lloris was the first choice goalkeeper. In the back line, Davies, Dyer and Romero were the predominant centre-back choices, with Sanchez also used in the back line. Højbjerg and Bentancur acted as the predominant double pivot, with Winks also used in central midfield. Reguilon and Emerson occupied the wing-back roles, with minutes also used by Sessegnon and Doherty. In attack, Son and Kulusevski supported Harry Kane as the main attacking trio, with Moura and Bergwijn also used to support Kane and Son. From Nuno Espirito Santo's 10 Premier League games, Tottenham conceded 16 goals, whereas in Conte's 28 Premier League games, Spurs conceded 24 goals, significantly bringing down the average goals per game conceded. In the rare moments where Tottenham utilised the back four, Conte would often use multiple fullbacks at once. As the ball was worked wide, the closest player jumped into the wide areas. This was followed by the fullback who then supported the press. The closest centre-back would track any central midfield runs through the inside channel. This left Tottenham's other centre-back 1 versus 1 against the opposing centre-forward. As the opposition's pivot then moved across, this could be dealt with by Tottenham's central midfield, leaving two high ready to counter-attack. This is seen away at Chelsea, with Dyer moving across to track the central midfield run through the inside channel and Tanganga pressing out from right back. Doherty covers to stop the pass back inside to central midfield. Alternatively, as the wide midfielder again jumps out to press, still supported by the fullback, the inside channel movements were now covered by Tottenham's central midfield. The benefit from this is that the opposing centre-forward is now overloaded 2 versus 1. However, the wide midfielder was then forced to quickly recover back and stop the opposing pivot receiving the central spaces now vacant. The closest centre-forward would then push across, helping lock the play on one side of the pitch, which still left two players high ready to counter-attack in central areas. If the wide midfielder hadn't tracked back and was still responsible for the opposing fullback, then one of the centre-forwards had to drop back and cover the opposing pivot. This is seen here by Kane, who has positioned himself deeper to stop Jorginho getting on the ball, as Winks has tracked the runner through the inside channel. Dyer and Sanchez overload Chelsea's centre-forward 2 versus 1. With Conte mainly using the back five, his side could deal with wingers moving inside, fullbacks overlapping and 8s rotating into the wide area. He first ensured his midfield 4 in the 5-4-1 low block was compact with minimal spaces between the lines. As the ball worked around, Tottenham's closest central midfielder jumped out to press in the inside channels. Once the wide midfielder then engaged the ball, covering passes back inside through an in-to-out press, the central midfielder could stay out and deal with any play back into the inside channel. With these two 1v1s particularly key in Conte's strategy, it also created a 2 versus 1 against the narrowed winger. As the play was worked back around, Tottenham would deal with a wide 8 via the wing-back stepping out instead to press. The wide midfielder would then cover the narrow full-back, which created less of a defensive presence initially inside the inside channel, with now 3 1 versus 1s on this side of the pitch. Therefore, the central midfielder would often cover into the back line where possible, with the rest of Tottenham's second line moving across in support. This is shown here against Liverpool, with the overload against the host left winger and 1 versus 1 moments on the other side as Sessegnon deals with Henderson as the wide moving 8. Whenever Tottenham did apply a high press, this was mainly seen versus a back 3 teams. The front line jumped onto the centre backs, with the closest wing-back moving forward to cover the wide areas. The far wing-back stayed narrow initially, but remained ready to press any switch of play. With one less player in central midfield on occasion, Tottenham's two central midfielders would jump onto any double pivot. This saw Tottenham's front line pressing as a narrow five in central areas, occupying a man each. But should the spare central midfielder move forward and one of the opposition's forwards drop to receive, then Tottenham's wide centre-back would step into midfield and press. Alternatively, should the opposition set up with two centre-forwards and one single 10, then whichever inside channel the 10 pushed into, Tottenham's wide centre-back on that side would press accordingly. The rest of the back line would then adapt their positions, covering the two centre-forwards. Here at home to Leicester, the front three have pressed onto the back line, with centre-back Davies pushing very high to press Leicester's spare central midfielder. From Nuno's 10 Premier League games, his side scored 9 goals, whereas from Conte's 28 matches, his side scored 60, a huge increase of less than a goal a game under Nuno to 2.1 goals per game on average under Conte. With many of Conte's past sides, the back three is often converted into a 4 when building, as one wing-back pushes forward. With a double pivot then forming for Inter Milan, the far 8 then pushed out, joining the centre-forward pairing. Build up around then lured the opposition wider, before Inter reversed the play into their centre-forwards. Here, passes around the corner help find runners in beyond, both centrally and through the wide areas. This is continued at Spurs, with the right wing-back tucking in and the left wing-back moving forward. But with the double pivot now already in place, and the front line already in a trio, the same play around focused on a dropping centre-forward. As the players moved across, it would be Harry Kane that would drop to link into central runs, usually from Son or Kulusevski. This is shown here at the Etihad Stadium in Tottenham's superb victory away at Manchester City. When attacking against a lower block, both Tottenham's wing-backs would push very high, with the 10s moving even further inside. Kane's dropping has evolved further under Conte, as he would also move into the inside channels. This helped support any wider centre-back advances, particularly those that stepped into midfield. Here, Kane would connect into the wing-backs, who often bounced into the central runs from the 10s in behind, or alternatively, Kane would try and work the ball back into the central areas himself before finding the 10 on the far side or the opposite wing-back. This is demonstrated here against Everton, where Kane has dropped to link with Kulusevski and Doherty. The arrivals of Bentancur and Kulusevski gave Conte and Spurs a much needed boost, with his 3-4-3 fantastic at low block defending and scoring goals on the counter-attack. But as the season progressed, the relationship between Kane, Son and Kulusevski then helped break down more stubborn opponents, as Conte will now look to increase his side's threat through the wide spaces as a priority, moving into the 22-23 campaign. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe, and don't forget to suggest any new ideas for the channel. Please also check out the latest book from the channel titled Football in a Pandemic, with a link available in the video description.